So good evening and welcome to our 2022 membership rally. My name is Lynn McLean and I am the president-elect for FWIC WI Canada.
And I am Angela Scott, chair of the communications committee for WI Canada, FWIC, and the monthly coordinator for WI Connections.
So tonight we are providing some ideas to bring you new members. We talked about the challenges around membership at the roundtable last fall, and with a terrific committee, we have come up with some suggestions.
We have a vision for the future of WI. WI is a circle of women supporting each other and our communities. We are diverse and inclusive, and we support communities one project at a time.
As president-elect, I fear sometimes there won't be a WI in the future to celebrate our successes.
And as communication chair, I fear WI will die and no one will ever know who we are and what we do.
So last November, we heard those shared concerns on membership from across the country. So tonight, we thought we would take a different approach. We will briefly discuss our reality, share some positive examples where branches are getting new members or being engaged, as well as providing some practical suggestions for branches to use.
Right.
So tonight's program is in 3 parts.
I'm on a meeting.
So I'll get you to mute if you're not talking, that would be great. So part 1 is an introduction which will take place in the form of a skit. Part 2 will consist of 3 presentations which will include a Q&A session. Part 3 is also a skit and will begin the conversation about the new advocacy initiative empowering women and youth. And as we wrap up tonight's program, each branch will have a list of suggested action items that will help your communities one project at a time. But before we begin, we would like to take a moment and to introduce and to thank our committee members and those that agreed to take part this evening. So we had Donna from Nova Scotia, Elaine from Ontario, Sheila from Quebec, Sue from Ontario, Rebecca from Ontario, Deborah from Manitoba, Chandra from New Brunswick, Margaret from Ontario, Brenda from BC, and Jackie from New Brunswick, and Eleanor from Nova Scotia. So to begin, let's listen to a conversation between 2 WI members, Sue and Deborah.
Well, tonight I have a Zoom meeting on membership for WI.
Do you now? Won't that be fun?
Well, I'm looking forward to it because we really need to address the issue of our shrinking membership.
So what can you do about it?
Well, we are thinking of coming up with a campaign to empower women and youth, building on the information we gathered concerning human trafficking.
But what does that have to do with membership?
Well, perhaps people have stopped joining because they don't have a cause that they're interested in, or maybe we have too many causes.
So what makes you think a special cause will help us to get new members?
That must be why people haven't been joining lately. Perhaps we need a central cause like other organizations have, a burning issue facing society today.
Oh, I don't know. I don't think that's why people are not joining.
You don't?
No, I don't. Look, churches and groups everywhere are crying about membership being down. Don't you think they have tried other approaches to get new members too?
I suppose they have. I
don't know what you can do.
When was the last time you showed someone how to become a member?
Not lately.
Do you advertise on your website about how to become a member?
No.
What do you do to get new members?
Mostly complain about not getting any.
So a week later after the meeting.
So, well, how are you doing today?
Oh, okay, I guess.
You sound down, Deborah. What's the problem?
Well, we've been thinking about WI and feeling frustrated.
Oh, Deborah, I'm sorry to hear that. What part are you feeling frustrated about? Your monthly meetings?
Oh, heavens no. At our branch, we have wonderful monthly get-togethers.
You know, we do too. We laugh a lot and we truly enjoy getting together with each other, especially going out to eat.
That's always fun. But that's not what has me frustrated.
No? Is it the membership, Deborah?
Yep, you guessed it. At the AGM, Gail Cuthbert Brandt said we had gone from 95,000 members in 1953 to 5,000 in 2021. I'm so worried.
Oh, I know, Deborah. It's hard to keep going when your everything is so
Unpredictable?
yeah. It seems like everything is always so up in the air.
Oh, you're so right. There seem to be a number of reasons for WI declining. When women started working for paid jobs away from home, when government departments started to withdraw funding and support, and when community showers became obsolete.
Oh, Deborah, you are so right. I've been a member since 1996, and all I have ever heard is that we were slowly going downhill. But I truly love WI and the get-togethers, so I go. And I know that the women in my branch love it too.
Yes, it's hard to stay positive with naysayers, but what can we do?
I really think we need a new focus, a project or something.
Yeah, I remember when we did the Into the North project. Branches across Canada wholeheartedly supported that project. It was tangible and we all wanted to help.
Well, that's true. WI members care when no one else does, it seems.
The friendship and support I have experienced and received in WI has been a blessing many times and so different than any other group or work-related get-togethers that I've ever participated in.
Well, yes, that's for sure. The experiences I've gained in WI would not have happened in any other way. I say, let's give it another try. We don't have much to lose.
Sounds like we might have a lot of work to do. I'm in.
Me too. Now let's see who else will help. I think WI branches and members recognize how important they are in their communities, but they feel tired and not sure what to do or how to reach out to new members.
We need something to inspire our members so that they feel connected to all WI members and enthusiastic about the difference we make in ourselves and our communities. And with everyone's buy-in, WI will survive.
Good evening, everyone. Now we're honored to hear from three people who are trying some different approaches to WI. We're going to hear from Elaine Tully, and Angela Scott will be stepping in for Jackie Cleveland, and Brenda DeVold. And following these three presentations, we'll be having questions. So please write it down in case you forget it or put it in the chat, and we'll have time for questions after. So right now I'd like to invite Elaine Tully of the Women Inspiring Women branch in Paris, Ontario. Elaine?
Hi, good evening, and thank you for your interest in WI membership. Women Inspiring Women was founded early in 2015 by two employees of WI Canada, Kate Belair and Maggie Wilson. The Hoodless Homestead, where they worked, is just a few minutes from our home base here in Paris, Ontario. They were inspired by the resurgence of WI in the UK, and they modeled our branch from what they were reading about that success. The initial public meeting was in a bar of a
Better. I'm still awake in the night.
local historic.
Just a second, Elaine.
Yeah.
Could people, if you're not speaking, could you mute, please?
I know.
If you could put yourselves on mute, that would be helpful.
Oh.
Thank you.
Need my glasses. I'm telling you. And get the right pair.
Sorry, Elaine. So
That's okay. I'll continue and we'll see what happens.
thank you.
The initial public meeting was in a bar of a local historic hotel. Kate and Maggie's wildest expectations for that super cold winter night wouldn't have forecast the jam-packed space with over 100 women anxious to learn about this opportunity to join together as a social group who would have fun together and do good at the same time. There was obviously a need to be filled here. Fast forward to today. We have 46 members at the moment, and COVID was in fact a growth period for Women Inspiring Women. After just a couple of months back at the beginning of COVID without meetings, we were urged by members to develop a Zoom account and meet regularly. In addition, we hosted the occasional Zoom check-in where members could just socialize, sharing their day-to-day challenges and experiences during COVID. New members joined who had never met any of us in person and wouldn't for quite some time. I remember meeting a woman on the street and we recognized each other from having seen each other on the screen, and we met in person for the very first time. Regular monthly meetings are a Thursday evening at 7 o'clock. We rent a room at our local fairgrounds as our regular attendance runs in the 25 to 35 range. Some meetings are held off-site depending on the topic. Now, forgive me because I had this prepared for a month ago, the original meeting, and I'm going to stay with what I had written there. Tomorrow evening, we are meeting at the Paris Museum for a behind-the-scenes tour. Programming is a balance of speakers and fun programming. We have never yet paid for a speaker. They do receive a small gift of homemade items provided by our members, such as preserves, soap, and hand-knit dishcloths, among other things. Our treasury is pressed to cover room rental, so we try hard to avoid additional expenses for our own benefit, but rather preserve funds for our community work. We offer 2 $500 scholarships each year, plus other projects as decided by our members. Currently, we're underway planning a major fundraiser for the local healthcare foundation, the largest event we've ever done. Each meeting has a community giving element where members bring items to donate to a designated local charitable cause. It is not required of members, strictly optional.
Just a minute. Yeah.
Membership.
Just a minute.
Membership is $75, most of which goes to FWIO. We retain $15 for our own branch. The meeting structure is very informal. We stick to a hard 2-hour time frame. Everyone signs in upon arrival. We open with a land acknowledgement and a short inspirational bit relative to the theme or the season. And then we do what we call the roll call. More correctly, it's a sharing time that is an opportunity for members to answer and share. It's always an uplifting experience and it helps us get to know each other. No roll is actually read. Each person in turn introduces themselves and answers. If they prefer not to answer, they simply pass. An example for our museum meeting, the roll call was, what is your most memorable experience at a museum? And I could tell you that was just brilliant to listen to everyone's experiences from museums all around the world. We have looked at the fact that this process takes quite a bit of time, but we have decided that it's critical to the success and fun of our meetings, so therefore well worth the time. The speaker or main activity then happens for about 45 minutes. Then a 15-minute snack break for socializing, and reconvene for a brief session of business. My aim as president is to keep this portion of the meeting as tight and brief as possible. This is not the main interest of our members. I ask individuals who are taking the lead on activities or initiatives to speak to their function and keep it moving. My role is facilitator. The less I say, the better. This is a collaborative effort of all members and critical that we share as a team. In addition to the main monthly meeting, we run member-driven small groups such as book club, dining club, and craft group. These are all things that are suggested by members and led by members. It's not anything hard and fast. Our annual meeting, we have disguised as a birthday party for our April meeting. So each year we hold a birthday party for ourselves, complete with an internal fundraiser. Last spring, it took the form of a baking and wine auction, so attended by just our own members, and we raised $950 that night. The annual report and budget are circulated by email in advance, so adopting and passing those takes only a very few minutes in the business portion of the meeting, followed by installation of officers. I've asked members for their input toward tonight's presentation by asking them, what is the most important thing about WIW to you? And here are some of their answers. Getting the opportunity to meet such a truly amazing group of women. Friendships, small groups, learning from each other, and community giving. Relaxed, fun atmosphere focused on learning, supporting the community, and the women in our group. This group saved me during COVID. The flexibility and options for member involvement coupled with the opportunity to learn and connect. Creating a fun, supportive group that is flexible based on group interest. The programming is top-notch, not stuffy, social focus versus formal business approach. I'm out of time and I have so much more to share. If you're interested in learning more about Women Inspiring Women, please email me. I'll put my email in the comments. I also have an excellent analysis of our group that was written by a woman who visited one of our meetings a few years ago. That is a brilliant interview that I would be happy to share with anyone who wishes to have it. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Elaine. Oh, that was wonderful. I already have a couple of questions. Did anybody else take notes? Next up is Angela Scott, who is filling in for Jackie Cleveland, and she'll be talking about an amalgamated branch in the greater Fredericton area. Angela? I think she's there. Is she there? Where'd she go?
She was here.
Oh, okay.
Just a second. Maybe she fell off the,
I can move on to,
yeah, maybe we'll switch it around a little till we figure she may have bounced off, but yeah, she's not here right now. Yeah, no, she's not. I can't see her. So,
okay.
all right, if you wouldn't mind.
No, well, if that's okay, we'll move on and hear from Brenda Duvall from BCWI and the value of resolutions. Brenda, can we hear from you?
Yes, you can. Hi, everybody. I'm here. So it's good to see you all, and thanks for asking me to speak here tonight. I'm going to talk today a little bit about in BC how we changed our resolutions up to make them work better for us. Several years ago, we were on the board and we were discussing resolutions, and the question came up as what happens to these resolutions? I don't know what happens with yours, but we pass them at a board level. And then we send out letters to all the appropriate government ministries. And they send us back these nice little letters back saying they are working on this. And thanks for sending the letters. And then we do it again and we get another letter back. And that's usually the end of it. Not always, but usually. So, and we want to encourage our members to do resolutions because that's sort of what we're all about, trying to make change. But they're a lot of work to write a resolution, to get the language right, to get the research going on. And it's discouraging if nothing happens. So we put our heads together and we try to figure out how we can make some changes to this. So we decided to change how we approach them. And we've now put those changes in our BCWI handbook. And we're asking every branch and our district that puts forward a resolution to follow this as much as they can. Not exactly, but as much as they can. So a couple of the changes are, I'm just going to read a few of them to you. Once a resolution is passed by the BCWI board, we are asking that the originating branch, since they are the experts on this resolution and have done most of the research, keep working on the resolution and keep us all informed as their work progresses so we can let the rest of the province know what is going on. We also ask that each branch in the province choose an active resolution to work on or to take part in whatever plan comes forward to support this active resolution. And we have asked all branches to move the resolutions forward in their community, discuss it at branch levels, to educate their members and the public, and hopefully to partner with other local community groups to approach their local MLAs, whatever they felt could be done to further the resolutions and bring attention to them. If there's no recent resolution, we actually in BC are working on 2 resolutions, but if there's none, then we maybe can start looking at past resolutions that are still relevant and we can work on them. What we're doing in this process, we're hoping to do, is essentially turn our resolutions into campaigns. And by doing this, we, the board, are not choosing the campaigns. The campaigns are member chosen. And we're trying to move forward so that our resolutions become not the end result, but instead the beginning of action and education. So this idea, we put it out and put it out in the newsletters, and the idea took. And we had branches getting involved, which was great to see, making suggestions. So those branches made suggestions to us, the BC board, on how we could move forward with some of these resolutions. So it was a BC branch that initiated the idea of changing a resolution that we have right now, a rape kit resolution. And they made these suggestions based on conversations they had with people working in the medical system. We were told that it wasn't the shortage of kits that were the problem, it was a shortage of qualified people to administer the kits. So from this then came the idea from another branch of setting up a bursary to help with the training needed to administer these kits. Then the idea from another branch, see, it sort of started snowballing, came of setting aside the month of June 2021 as a month branches would raise money for the bursary province-wide. And most branches took part in that. We've also have another resolution going, and these members, the branch that started that resolution, have joined in with local environmental groups that are interested in the pushing forward of a greener way for cremation in BC. So we've got the 2 resolutions out and they're being worked on, and they're being worked on by members and the branches. I think that by working on some of the same issues province-wide, it's created a system of cooperation, and it's very clear that we can accomplish more by working together. I think it gave direction and purpose to those branches looking for that, especially those that had no real goals. And there's some branches that, just don't have super defined goals and they want something to work on. They took raising funds for the bursary as their goal and went out to fundraise for it. It's perhaps helped to recreate the way of looking at WI as being there for the hard issues in our community. I believe that the approach helps make the resolutions real. They're not just something hanging up in the iCloud. They're real. And I think that we don't need government help to do that. If they're not going to help us, we don't need it. And we can do it ourselves. And we've proved that in BC. We've got a bursary going now, and it's been very well accepted. It's not a bursary that we, the BCWI board, can pay for because we have no funds. It's a member-based bursary, and I'm overwhelmed at the amount of support we've had for that. So that's pretty much all I have to say. And thank you for listening to me.
Thank you very much, Brenda. Now that's another take, an interesting take on getting new members and how to get your members to work for the good of the WI and the community. And like I said, there'll be questions allowed later, but first we'd like to hear from Angela. Did she ever come back to us? Yes, I see her name. Are you there, Angela?
I did. I'm sorry. Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, and you have the floor now. Go ahead.
Can you hear? Okay, good. Well, tonight I'm thrilled to be representing Jackie Cleveland, a member of the Greater Fredericton branch of the Women's Institute. It's a branch made up of 3 previous branches. And she gave me notes to start off with. She says that it's a caring branch, it's a welcoming branch, and the thing that made it so for her is it was actually 3 separate branches to begin with. 1 or 2 branches closed, and there was 1 left. And so they were caring enough to decide to be inclusive and choose a whole different name and have everyone feel welcomed as part of this new brand. She had a slide, I think, and it was a picture of computer training. Back in 2000, when the Y2K was a big issue, there was a lot of training going on around the province for people of all ages in the communities learning about computers. So in 2000, the Upper Kingsclear branch, I think it was called, they participated at one of these centers and everyone got training. So ever since then, they have always had the ability to do computer work within their branch. So when COVID-19 came, they never missed a meeting. They had the ability to meet online immediately, and they did so. And so they felt that that training that they got was a real bonus for them. They live all around the province. Some of the ladies who used to be part of the branch moved to St. Andrews and I believe Quispamsis. Some live in probably 30 minutes away from the majority of where the other ladies live, but they're all able to participate. And Jennifer, who used to be a member of the branch, she is the lady who does our technology in the summers when we have our AGM for FWIC. She was a member and she still tunes in sometimes, I think. So,
You hear something?
and she also wanted us, oh, Kim? She also wanted us to mention that one of their members in the branch is also a member of one of the branches in England. And she said that that has been a real shot in the arm for their branch because she's bringing back all kinds of ideas and enthusiasm for ways that they can be revitalized. She said they always have a mid-month luncheon for socializing only. And she said there might be 2 people come, there might be 20, there might be 40. And everybody can come, they can bring a guest, they can bring children. It makes no difference whatsoever. It's just for socializing. And she said we do it every month. She said sometimes there literally would only be 2 people come, but most of the time there's a good crowd, around 20 people or so. They have the regular monthly meetings, often via Zoom, and I don't believe that they have a hall. I think that they rent a room in a school, is how it goes. And then they encourage special events throughout the year, and she finds that encourages participants from the families and friends of the members. So it becomes a bigger crowd at those times when they do special adventures. And that was what she had to offer.
Thank you very much, Angela.
Hello?
Hello. Thank you, Angela.
Okay. You're welcome.
Thank you very much. Would anyone like to ask any questions of any of our three speakers? I can see if anybody puts their hand up, or yes, okay, or your little remote, your little doohickey down below, reactions or whatever. You know how to use it by now, right? Now, oh, here it is. Okay, Liz.
Yes.
Yeah.
For those that don't know me, I'm from Manitoba and I belong to the Springfield WI, which is just outside of Winnipeg. And I kind of want to address what Elaine Tully had said. We do have, we're fortunate, we get a meeting room at our local library, which is administered through the rural municipality. So what we do is we make a donation, sort of an average what we think, because we only meet there maybe 9 or 10 times a year. We don't do July and August. And if we happen to go out, well, now this year it's going to be a little different because we just got back to doing it. But anyway, we donate funds to them. So if there is a special project within the library that they would like to do, they get those funds. Also, the other thing, a scholarship that we do is a music program to our local school. And we raise those funds by having a grocery hamper at our local agricultural fair, and we sell tickets, on that. The other thing that we also do and advertise, and we've done for the last maybe 4 or 5 years, or maybe more, is they have Canada Day t-shirts available, and they put all the names of all the sponsors. So for a certain amount of money, we get our name put on our Springfield WI or Women's Institute, and it's on the back of the shirts. We've never really, I don't think, got anything, but our name is out there. So I just wanted to just say, I like the ideas that Elaine has done, and this is what we do in our area. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Liz. Does anyone else have a question? I had one too for Elaine. When she mentioned her membership fee, $75, I think you said, Elaine.
Yes.
And so is that the regular like Ontario membership fee, or is that something that you
most of it is the Ontario membership fee. I think
$53.
$53 goes to FWIO. And then we have, a couple of dollars for FWIC and 3 or 4 for area, 3 or 4 for district, and so on. So, and then we put on $15 of our own to help defray our rental expenses.
Okay.
It is a lot of money. It is. Yeah.
We've done something similar in our little branch that was 4 people, now 6. raised our membership fee up.
Yay.
So send our province what we're supposed to, but still have some for our branch, because we don't fundraise or anything like that very much. We're just a small group, so
yeah,
that helps provide for like the bursary, like we like to give and everything. So maybe others do that as well. And how many others out there working on resolutions? Oh, I have Sue up here. Oh, Sue, is that a question, or you're just?
I was putting my hand up when you're finished.
Oh, okay, I'm finished, Sue. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to ask, because you're here, Manitoba, I understand, have a virtual branch. Is that right? We're working right now in Ontario on getting our member records up to date, because we're getting a new computer system first of the year. And one of the ladies I called, because we hadn't received the member sheets from her branch in the Kingston area, told me today the sad news that, they were down to 3, and, they're going to close their branch, disband their branch. and they are not close to any other branch to amalgamate with. And I said, you know, if I win this election coming up, I would love to explore starting a virtual branch. Would you be interested? She said, oh, I'd love it. So I just wondered, I think Manitoba might have virtual branch. Is that true? And if you do, how is that experience?
I think I'll let Deborah address that one. Deborah, are you still on there?
Yeah.
So we have our virtual branch. It took a little while to get it started. What we found is that the members who were most interested in joining were members who lived a distance from an organized group, or members who had an ill or disabled family member who lived in their home, and therefore getting out of their home took a great deal of planning and an experienced caregiver. So now they can participate. Last night, the group met and they came up with their own name. And I'm going to share it because I think it's kind of cute. It's called the MWI Zooming Monarchs. And they chose monarchs because they are floating from all different areas of the province. And they're very beautiful women.
That's so good to hear.
And they did decide that they wanted to participate in the regular programming that comes through the province. So an example would be our Made in Manitoba is a food drive this year. So it's easy for the institutes, not so much for the virtual. So what they're going to do is take pictures of themselves donating, and then the staff EA will create a collage. So when we're doing our advertising, they won't be left out, things like that. And if you want a little more information or hand holding through your process, we're certainly willing to have you be a guest at the virtual, see how it works. And we can help. We'd help any way we can. It was quite a lengthy process.
Yeah.
Thank you. I will be in touch with you then to join in if that's okay.
It is.
That's very interesting. Yeah. And I noticed, Angela, before you had your hand up, but Barbara does now. Would you like to go, Angela? While you're still here?
Oh, sure. I have something quick to say.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right. I think the thing was the video. So when I took the video off, it seems to be much better.
Oh, yeah.
When Elaine was talking about the opening that they have in their branch, I thought that was really, really good. Having that sharing time, I'm visioning you as being in a circle. What does it look like? Can I ask more specifically about it, Elaine?
Yes, certainly. So what it looks like is we're not in a circle because there are too many of us, right? It would be too big of a circle.
Okay.
So our setup is normally tables that run the length of the room. So three tables with people seated on both sides of the tables. I stand at the front to conduct the meeting. We do not have any formality whatsoever. There's no, I don't have a table I sit at, nothing. Okay. It's just me there. And people, when we do the sharing time, I will just randomly, I'll say what the question is, and I'll pick one corner of the room for someone to start, and we just go round and round the tables. Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Does that answer you, Angela? Oh dear, did we lose her again?
I think so.
Okay. Well, I hope she at least heard you.
Yeah, we lost her again. Oh, gracious.
I will, if she comes back, maybe you can give a quick rundown of that again, Elaine.
She can watch the video.
Yeah.
And I'll move on to Barbara Weiss, please.
This is really more a comment, but yesterday our area met and for I don't know how many years I've been advocacy coordinator, and I finally got so frustrated because it's strictly reporting what the branches did. And as most of you know, the branches don't very often make resolutions and send them up through the system and never heard from. And we were talking about possibly having someone on trafficking as our speaker at the next area conference. And what we're going to do is sort of take a project. And let's face it, a lot of our members don't think trafficking is an issue. Not to them, not to their families. They don't want to get involved for many reasons. So we're going to try to have every member in the district, in the area, learn the hand signal for I need help. Very simple to learn, to know it. If we come across it, we don't have to get personally involved. We don't have to put ourselves in danger of trying to rescue that young person. We simply phone the police and they take it from there. But how important that hand signal is, and I have some background on it too, how it came about and that. And just start there as a way to get people involved in it. And then we hope that the members will also share it with others and put that out there, because we live in an area where in the South End, we're on that 401 corridor. And we learned yesterday that in Oshawa, there is a hotel that is now entirely dedicated to the people perpetuating this crime against young people. And that's where they hang out. So we know where they are, but certainly we're not going to put ourselves in danger by going there. But if we can help educate people to recognize the problem, recognize a way to help, we're going to try it.
Yeah, okay, that's great. Didn't they have a commercial on TV sometimes showing that hand signal and once in a blue moon? So, you know, it's good that your branch is focusing on that. And Deborah has something to add to that. I didn't see. Yeah, Deborah. You're muted, Deborah.
Sorry about that. I try and mute because my dog sometimes decides he wants to be involved in the discussion. I have questions for Elaine. One is the length of your meeting, and how did you manage to change the focus from business to fun?
Oh, well, we were very fortunate because we're a new branch. We've never, ever had business as a focus. The focus has always been fun. That was the number one thing, right? And we find as women find us and come and test us out, that is the thing that appeals first and foremost to them, because they're looking to get to know other women, and the social aspect is the first and foremost thing. Once somebody's a member for a while, they get interested in all of the other things or that we're doing, or that they will bring up their own things they'd like to see us do. But the social and fun side is the first thing.
Thank you.
Thank you, Elaine. Yeah.
Can I just say something about Elaine's branch? Because when it's Sue, sorry.
Oh yeah, Sue. Okay, sorry, you're up in the top corner. Yeah.
Sorry. Our membership committee for Ontario a few years ago, when Elaine's branch first was getting started, we interviewed her branch. We were so interested because they were so new and different and so exciting, and they had about 50 people at your very first meeting, Elaine, and we heard about that and we were just in awe. So we the committee and Elaine and her girls met together on Zoom, and we had a wonderful hour together. And I'll tell you, their ideas were so refreshing. And we kind of geared how Ontario's membership committee was structured then for the next few years because of Elaine's wonderful branch. But I would like to say something that Elaine and her branch do. They do a lot of Zoom presentations, like right now they're focusing on how to bake an apple pie. And you do charge for that, do you not, Elaine? And
Yeah, actually, that's a fundraising thing that that we've done. This is the second year in a row, and anybody from the world over can join because it's via Zoom. And oh my goodness, it's been a lot of fun to do. So yeah, that's a cool example. So the ones we're doing right now, we're doing a series of 3, and so far we've collected $500, but we aren't done yet. We still have a live in-person pie pastry one that is not all fully registered. Yeah.
just wanted to mention that because they're so innovative. They really are. They do have fun.
Let me unplug my head.
You don't have to turn me on until the right time, though.
No, but you just need to listen here. I want to know if you can hear them.
Okay.
I just gotta turn them back up here in a second.
Okay.
All right, where do we go? Lost sound. Okay, let's see a second. Oh, no, just a second. This is sometimes don't pop.
I just said, can anybody hear me? And I was muted, for heaven's sakes.
Mhm.
Lynn, do you have Angela there?
Yes, I had Angela in my hands.
Okay. I've been there and done that. Did
lost
she
her.
want to say something?
Was there something
Did
you
you hear her question answered?
Did you
Now
want-
I've forgotten who was answering her question.
Elaine.
She said move on. So
It was Elaine. Move on. And that's what I'm wondering. It's now 7:48. I don't see any more questions, but if anybody has
one.
something, they can come on later and ask a question if you really think. Now, there's a couple of comments though
yes.
in the, okay.
And you
Can
see,
everybody read the comments in the chat? So go
Yeah.
to the chat and there's some interesting comments there from Karen and Anne Marie and
can everybody know how to read the chat? Some people may not know how to, Sheila.
well, I think they should learn that you go down here to the bottom where it says chat and a little screen on the side will pop up and you can read, you can even scroll, you can go up and down it and see all the different items. Does anybody have a problem doing that? And so that's how you see chat. And you can put your own comment in there too at the bottom. It says to everyone, you can type a message in there and everyone will be able to see it. So do you think we should move on, Lynn, to, okay, does that involve, I wanted to just make a note here though. And if you ladies have been taking notes, we have a list of some key points here that the 3 ladies mentioned and our speakers mentioned that seem to be proving very successful for them. And it's having informal and frequent get-togethers, less catering and fundraising, having unifying cause and a local focus, less meeting, more socializing, and the electronic gathering by Zoom, flexible programs and programming, a collaborative atmosphere. You're a circle of women problem solvers. So all you have to do is get together and I think you could solve any problem.
That's right.
System and ways of asking or inviting new women to try WI, which really involves all of the above, I think, and making resolutions a reality through advocacy. And it's not all about collecting money at every meeting. That can just be a sidebar to a special focus or something. And I guess I wrote this down, virtual, having a virtual branch, at least testing one, or maybe joining Deborah in their branch in Manitoba to see how it's done, which is, I guess, the same as having electronic gathering, but this is an electronic gathering, but it's not really a branch meeting. So anyway, that's for some of the things that we thought evolved from these lovely speakers. And thank you, each one of you, for being with us and sharing your information. So back to you, Lynn.
Thank you, Sheila. Appreciate that. And thank you for the wonderful presentations from Elaine and Angela and Brenda. So we may have time for some more conversations at the end. So now we're going to go to part 3, skit.
Yeah. Can you hear me okay?
Can you hear Angela?
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay.
Okay. And now on to part 3.
Well, Deborah, that was quite a presentation from WI. What did you think?
I liked it, but I don't know what to do now. I'm just a member. What am I supposed to do?
That's a good question. I wonder if we'll get any coverage in the news. Maybe we need to advertise in the papers.
Well, I work in marketing every day, and that isn't how it's done anymore.
Oh, what do you mean?
Well, everything now is social media. You know, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Pinterest, TikTok, LinkedIn.
Oh, yes, that's everything now. I get so tired of being out of touch. What about those of us who don't have internet or have poor internet?
Well, Deborah, we already have newsletters to communicate with current members, but to get new ones, we have to be on social media. We must actively share stories about WI.
I've always said we need to promote more, and we have Facebook now, but I don't see it making any big difference.
Well, I really understand your question, Eleanor. What makes the difference will be what I call high protein stories. Stories that inform and call people to action. Stories that get people's attention and they catch on.
Oh boy, we are doomed then.
Oh, Deborah, why do you say that?
Well, we are reluctant to say what we do. We don't like to boast. We rarely tell our communities what our branches are doing. We sure don't get much positive news coverage anymore. And if we have a sign that says WI working for your community, half the members won't even bother to take it to where they're completing a task in the community.
Oh.
I don't want to get on social media. I like my privacy.
Well, we do too, Deborah. But if we could just try.
And just how is any of this supposed to translate to new members?
Well, it is about creating a need and a solution. You know how you see stories about people in distress and you can make donations. It's sort of like that.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
It's creating a presence and a need. It's like an online community.
So in other words, there is nothing my branch can do to help. Is that right?
Good question. Truly, the best way to get new members is for branch members to invite them, offer to pick them up and ask them to have a look at the WI Facebook page. Branch members across the country can invite someone to go with them to the next meeting and offer to pick them up to attend.
Yes, and while we're all consciously inviting people, social media will be consistently raising the awareness of WI. Potential new members will see our stories on social media and our messages will be reinforced and validated. WI is here and we are making a difference.
I don't
Deborah.
want to get on I don't want to get on social media. I like my privacy.
Well, we do too, Deborah. But if we could just try.
And just how is any of this supposed to translate to new members?
Well, it is about creating a need and a solution. You know how you see stories about people in distress and you can make donations. It's sort of like that.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
It's creating a presence and a need. It's like an online community.
So in other words, there is nothing my branch can do to help. Is that right?
Good question. Truly, the best way to get new members is for branch members to invite them, offer to pick them up and ask them to have a look at the WI Facebook page. Branch members across the country can invite someone to go with them to the next meeting and offer to pick them up to attend.
Yes, and while we're all consciously inviting people, social media will be consistently raising the awareness of WI. Potential new members will see our stories on social media and our messages will be reinforced and validated. WI is here and we are making a difference.
Well, thank you everyone for sitting through all of this presentation. We've all worked together to try to come up with some ideas. What can we do? What about organizing our 5,000 members together to advocate for empowering women and youth? You will ask, what would that look like? Well, advocacy is the simple practice of communicating and educating on behalf of those who cannot always communicate for themselves, or helping others communicate and share important issues. In 2021, last year, at our triennial conference, WI Canada learned about the realities of human trafficking. Many provinces and branches became involved in supporting the issues so many youths face. A bit more investigation revealed that the one thing that can make a difference is some sort of community connection. Oftentimes, grandmothers, aunts, and other women will be the one person in a young person's world who makes them feel seen. Perhaps we need to be those women. And we need to speak up for all women who face isolation and struggles in our communities, regardless of age, race, religion, or background. So what do we do next? We have a little list of 2 or 3 areas that we're going to talk about of how we can move forward. We're going to talk about meetings and get-togethers. We're going to talk about our Facebook pages. We're going to talk about a project that we hope every branch will participate in. And we're going to talk about International Women's Day. So let's begin. As Sheila spoke earlier, following the presentations from the other presenters, Elaine Tully, myself, and Brenda DeVoe. I'm sorry, Brenda. Following those presentations, we talked about the idea of having less business meeting and more socializing. We talked about informal, frequent get-togethers with special interest get-togethers, maybe around walking, cooking, dancing, public speaking, any kind of thing that is of interest to you as a special project that might be a learning point. Strategic fundraising and to reevaluate monthly collections. We say that because many women do not carry cash. And if they do, they need it for their children, for school projects. The idea of having a monthly meeting and the little collections that we have done for years and years is not as popular with the young women as it is with the older ladies. The strategic fundraising is an interesting idea because a lot of branches will decide, rather than doing little fundraising projects all year long, they'll decide to make one effort for the year and then it's done and over with. So that's certainly something to consider. Flexible programs and programming schedule. We're going to support you with some of that if you like. And it will be the sort of thing where FWIC, WI Canada will send out information for branches and provinces and districts to use some different flexible programs that you can use as much or as little as you choose. A collaborative atmosphere. It's a circle of women problem solvers. That's for sure what WI is all about. We're going to suggest that you ask and invite women to try WI. Just try it. Look for unifying causes and local focus. And that connects with the next point, to make resolutions a reality through advocacy. I have an example of that. In our branch, the Quebec WI, we have two issues right now that we're considering doing resolutions, at the very least letters for. One is the center line down the middle of the road in the main road of the community. We would like to see that freshened up. And the other is the fact that there are many schools that have been left abandoned as new schools have been built and children have been bused to the larger facilities. Meanwhile, these older facilities are being forgotten and in many respects are becoming a haven for drug users, actually. So it's not good to have these in our community. And so that's an example of an issue that could be a unifying cause in your community. So when we make resolutions a reality through advocacy, what that looks like is not only are you contacting your member of the legislature or legislative assembly, you are actually going to also publish your letter on your Facebook page to let people know what you are doing. That's not something we've been used to doing in the past, but people want to know. Try using electronics. Zoom is a wonderful option, especially on a cold winter's night when the wind is blowing and it might be snowing a little bit. It isn't the answer for every get together for sure and certain, but it is a lovely option once in a while. And the last thing when we talk about our meetings and get togethers, let's have fun. Let's find some things that are really exciting to do, or just simple things such as our initial visit with each other as we come together to start our get together, such as what Elaine talked about earlier in the program tonight. Also the Facebook page. We are asking under the Facebook page that each branch and district start their own page. If you could post on Facebook weekly, for example, a picture and a short write-up, that would be a good objective to go for. And at least once per month, if you could post an invitation to join WI. We are going to send you out posters, meaning JPEGs that you can include on your WI page, and they will welcome new members. And it's a tool that you can use, but by all means, if you would like to make up your own posters and do your own information, go for it. And we're only too happy to share and see what everyone is doing. If you could post your branch's resolutions and community letters, as I mentioned before, so people know what you are working for, that would be great. The last thing under this category, before we talk about the YWI project, is like, share, follow, and become friends with other WIs across Canada. You will know some of the branches close to you, But as you begin to follow and to follow another branch or another province, all you do is query their name and they'll come up, and then at the top of the page there'll be a follow button and you could just click on that, and then you will automatically get feeds from those particular branches or provinces. And that is a great tool to start learning and seeing what others are doing. Now that I've talked a bit about meetings and get-togethers and the Facebook page, I'd like to talk about the YWI project. It's as simple as the next time you have a meeting, have a small whiteboard or a small chalkboard. And the question is, why WI? Why do you attend WI? What makes it interesting for you? So if I were going to do it, mine would probably be friendship, because I have lots of friends through WI. Others might say networking or network, because they feel that through WI they have a network of friends in their community and in their province. So there's all kinds of reasons why people join WI, and we'd like to learn about why you have joined. So take a picture, put your reason why WI on the whiteboard, and have someone take your picture. Let everyone in your branch take their picture. Do funny things if you want to. You can even get dressed up. Or if you're going to do it at your Christmas meeting, you can do it in a Christmas theme. So the idea is that as you take your pictures, they'll be sent in to Lynn, President-elect Lynn McLean, and she's going to build a little collage for us all. And then we'll publicize that on the WI Canada Facebook page. You may have questions. We are talking about doing this project in the next WI Connections, so you may have questions. Please don't hesitate to ask. We would be only too happy to talk about it. Another thing to watch for is the FWIC WI Canada YouTube channel. It's been set up just in the last month and a half, and right now there are a few different presentations on that, and those presentations are actually listed in the most recent WI Connections as well. One of them is the Remembrance Day function that we had. Another one is the social media workshop that we had, and we will be putting this membership event up on the YouTube channel as well. In order to find it, all you have to do is go to your browser on your computer and enter YouTube channel and have YouTube come up, and then you put in the query section FWIC WI Canada, and it will come up, and there'll be a little crest just like what you see on your screen, and that's the channel. So you click on it and there will be the different events that we have hosted, and there will be more to follow up for you to tune into. Some branches will like to do it as a group, others will do it individually. Now, the last thing that I had to talk about tonight is to mark your calendars for March the 8th, 2023, when we're going to be delighted to visit with Lindsay Seeley, author of Growing Strong Girls. And the topic she's going to be doing that night is Bridging the Generations. It's the International Women's Day event, and we're going to be talking about the struggles that women of all ages face and how we are working together to try to help and empower women in youth, one project at a time. So that pretty much clears up our evening for tonight. The last thing that I would ask you to take away from our presentation is the next time somebody asks you, what is WI? Consider saying it this way, or why WI? Because a lot of times people say, well, why do you do that? Why WI? Because WI cares, one community project at a time. Our vision is WI is a circle of women supporting each other and communities. We are diverse and inclusive, and we support communities one project at a time. And I know that you all know that because you've been doing it for 125 years to help. For tonight, I say thank you for participating in this presentation, and I appreciate all of you so much. You're the ladies that make the difference. So let's go forward and make WI a happening thing. Thank you.
Says to remember to do hashtag WI cares on your posts, so. So that's another thing you can do, hashtag WI cares, so. I think we should get, maybe Elaine might be the best one to talk about this. We've been very careful about saying WI, not Women's Institute. We've been pretty selective about that tonight. And I think maybe Elaine might be able to talk about that, why, that's what they've done, so.
Oh, hello,
Yes,
can you hear me now?
yes, we can, Elaine, yes.
Okay, thanks. Sorry, so I'm sorry, I'm just combobulated here because I had to phone back in, my internet quit. You're asking about the use of the term WI as opposed to Women's Institute,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, we use Women's Institute quite a bit, but people, you know, they look at you like you maybe have two heads sometimes. Because either they don't know what that is, or, you know, their grandma used to belong and they didn't think that anybody really did that anymore. So WI, especially because we have such a long handle, Women Inspiring Women, WI just you know, does the job. And yeah, that's kind of a wishy-washy answer, but it just seems like it's a term that is not particularly conducive to interest. You know, it doesn't perk up people's curiosity to say, gee, I might like to belong to that, you know.
Thanks a lot, Elaine. That's the kind of thought that we had. We had some people come in and talk to us about how to become more autumn. And I don't know why we're getting feedback, Angela. So anyway, that's okay. Just and the word institute conjures up an old word and conjures up things from a previous time. And the younger generation may not relate quite as well to that. So we think the WI inspiring or some other adjectives that go with WI are maybe more appropriate. Anyway, it's something to think about. We don't want to lose our history here. So, but it's
one quick little thing here. I just am realizing as we're having this conversation, women in our group always refer to it as WI, right? Going to WI. WI is doing this, WI is doing that. My mom and grandmothers many of our members still refer to it as institute, going to institute, right? And so maybe there's something telling there, right?
Exactly. So thank you for all of that. Thank you, Angela, for bringing us to this part of the evening. And so we can open it up to questions or comments if you would like to make some. If not, we hope we've given you something to think about. I did want to let you know that, and maybe Marie, you want to speak to this about what's happening next week in Ottawa with UNESCO?
Thank you, Lynn. First, I'd like to say thank you to all the speakers tonight and for all the great information, but not just information, but the way that that you've inspired us to rethink what we do and how we can do it better. And I just I don't know which part I like the best. I really want to thank you, Elaine, for sharing about your branch, Women Inspiring. It's refreshing to hear. And I remember when Kate Belair worked in the FWIC/WI Canada office and began that branch, and how exciting that was for all of us, and how she shared about that first night and the packed house. So thank you for sharing and inspiring us how to rethink what we do to be able to do it better. And of course, advocacy is a heart and passion that I have. And to hear how BC is taking it to the next level locally by making sure that our voices are being heard, and acting among the resolutions, not only new ones, but those that have been passed before. And with that all been said, I thank you, Lynn, for giving me the opportunity to mention that ACWW is in co-hosting with UNESCO, the NGO Forum, the International Forum, and it is taking place in Ottawa, the 20th and 21st. The topic this year is the decade of Indigenous languages, as well as the decade of oceans. And there's a number of roundtable discussions and guest speakers. And if you're in the area, there's no charge to go. Come and experience firsthand UN forum that's taking place in our own country. And it's the first time that we've been able to have it here in Canada. And I think it's very exciting that ACWW is co-hosting that event. It's run by the Liaison Committee of UNESCO. And so it is also going to be virtual. So you can attend any one of the sessions. There is a registration process, and because it is a UNESCO event, it is their website that you register under. Now, I sent that information through to Lynn and to FWIC President Margaret today, and so please check out that information from them. If you want to, I can send you the link if you contact me or contact the ACWW office. They can send you that link as well, but it is under UNESCO. But I hope that's, because it is in Canada, I hope that some of you will, if you live in Ontario and it's the weather's half decent, if you could make the trip, or I know Anne, you're planning on coming, and I'm excited. Anne is on our UN committee, and I know she's planning on being there in person. Hanya White was planning, but I think there's some family issues that have come up, so she won't be there. But anyone that wants to come and experience this, please do. And if not, please try to attend some of the roundtables session online. I can post the schedule, or I can, excuse me, I can send Lynn the schedule, and that way you can look at the schedule and see who the speakers are and maybe a time that you'd like to. But if you register, you will get that schedule as well. But anyway, I just wanted to extend that invitation that it is a very exciting event for us, for ACWW to not only be participating, but also for it to be here in Canada, kind of on our own doorstep, is very exciting. I just wanted to say, many of you may not know this, but I think it's important for us all to realize that ACWW, since 1959, I'd like to go back and check the dates, has been doing advocacy work that with our ability to have to work with the United Nations, we've had that link. And I know for us, here on Prince Edward Island, I'm sure across Canada, when we talk about being part of ACW, being part of Women's Institute or WI, we also say, and we're not only local, but we're part of FWIC, which is our national level, and ACWW, which is our international level. And we are one of the few NGOs that have a consultant status at the UN. When I went on the ACWW board 4 years ago, we were losing that status. And I think it's important for us to know that we had already lost our status with the World Health Organization, and we were losing our status with UNESCO. And to see over the 4 years with a lot of hard work, how now we are co-leading some of the work. I think that's very significant and a lot for us to celebrate and to be able to ensure that the Canadian voices are heard, because advocacy work involves all of our societies and wanting to hear what's going on. And you're talking about how relevant it is for human trafficking right here under our own noses. And that's an issue that we need to be raising. So anyway, thank you. That's a lot said, but the PR was that if you are available on the 20th or 21st, you don't have to attend all of it, attend what you can, but please take an opportunity to be engaged while it's happening here in Canada. Thank you.
Marie, before you leave, I just want to just check the dates because I have the NGO schedule in front of me, and it is the 21st and 22nd.
Yes.
And not the
I say
20th.
the 20th and 21st, that's because I'm flying out on the 20th.
Okay. So just to reconfirm that, then it's the 21st and 22nd.
Thank you, Margaret, for that. So many dates and so many things to keep straight, but thank you. It is the actual form is the 21st and 22nd. Thank you.
Thanks, Marie. And we did send that the program in English and French out to the directors of FWIC and the provincial presidents this afternoon. So Nick had sent it along to us, and so that has been distributed. So if you want to share it through to your membership, that would be great. If you didn't get it or want it, just email Margaret or myself and we can pop it over to you. And the link for the registration, I believe, is in there, is in that letter as well. So
thank you so much for doing that. Very much appreciated.
Not a problem. Happy to help. So Barbara Weiss, did you have a question? Your hand is up.
You're muted,
You're
Barb.
muted, Barb, sorry.
Still muted. Oh, hands down.
Okay. Any other comments? If you would like, okay, Deborah's got one and Michigan's got one. So you're muted, Deborah, before you start.
My question is, do any of the branches have a YouTube, or the provincial bodies have a YouTube channel? And do you find it difficult to keep it relevant?
Well, I'm not seeing any answers, but Deborah, ours is hard to do, so. Anybody
Ontario has a YouTube that they use. And there's one of our districts that do for sure. I don't know about all our areas.
Because that's going to be our next big adventure, is branching off into YouTube. And watch for us on TikTok.
Oh, very good. The issue with YouTube is you have to just to edit your videos that you're putting up, and that takes a little bit of time.
Thank you.
Micheline.
Yes, I was wondering, you were mentioning you were going to be providing some materials. So I just wanted to clarify whether or not you're going to be providing templates for branches that that can fill in, change the name, put their own branch. The reason I'm asking that is it's so, I'm thinking about branding and consistency and facility, just to have some very handy templates if you want to have a special event, or you know, what is the WI done, or what are some of the major achievements of the WI? Why join the WI? And we have some old brochures, but it would be nice to have something to be able to put on Facebook that was also consistent. And so that's what I just wanted to clarify when you said you're going to be providing these resources.
Angela?
Sure. Well, as far as that goes, anything that you see on Facebook right now, you can take and use. And then as we prepare materials like for programming and posters and all that sort of thing, a list of taglines, I guess we haven't talked, we have a meeting coming up about that. I think we'll probably be distributing it through WI Connections and through our emails that we send, Margaret and Lynn send to each of the province, and they would then distribute on to the branches and districts in their provinces.
Okay, I think that's all right.
Does that make sense?
Yes. Sue?
I was just going to say for the Ontario members that we'll be working on just that very thing over the next year. Information that we can share that branches can use as well. And one of the things that Elaine and I forgot to mention earlier are bookmarks. And bookmarks are just the greatest thing. They're very inexpensive, and you can put your branch information on there and hand them out in your communities, and they can have the logo and anything else you want to put on there. But they're a really easy, quick, inexpensive way to communicate about your branch in your area.
Thank you, Sue. Any other comments? Helen?
Hi, I was thinking that it would be really nice to know all of the achievements that every province, WIs, have done for their province. Like in New Brunswick, we claim to have put the yellow line on the road and wrapped bread, and like I've got a whole long list of stuff I found on the internet. But each province has done different things. I know our branch in Havelock, New Brunswick, has done many things in our area that has changed everyone's life because WI has pushed for it. It would be nice to have a Canada-wide list of what WI has achieved, and that would be a good enough thing to blow our horn with, I think.
That's a great suggestion, Helen. We'll take that back to the committee. So see what we can come up with and see if we can create one list, and it would be quite impressive. There's no question.
Oh, yeah. I think so, yeah.
Any other comments or questions? If not, certainly thank you to all our folks that spoke this evening, and we do appreciate them. And I'll try and get them. I might miss some. We had Deborah, and we had Sheila, and we had Eleanor, and we had Brenda, and we had Angela. And we have, who else have I got here? And Elaine. We had Elaine. So anyway, thank you to all of you for participating. And
before you wrap up though, Lynn, I'd like to say thanks.
I know I was going to give you the last word. So.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead then, finish what you were going to say.
You have the last word, Madam President.
All right. I would like to say thanks to the Outreach Committee and Communications, well, it's all one, Outreach and Communications Committee, and to all of the participants. They certainly have given us a lot to think about. It was very well prepared, put a lot of thought into it, and there's a lot of great questions that came from everyone today from across the country. So really, WI does care, and FWIC cares as well. So let's keep this open line of communication and see how far we can get. So thank you to everybody for joining us, and particularly the Outreach and Communications Committee.
And our
That's
guests.
my last word.
And our conscripted guests, so. Anyway, so thanks, folks. Good evening, and you're welcome to stay on and chat if you want, but otherwise we will say good night.